Hey, what's up everybody? Yesterday I just put a members video out, so if you want to go check that out, I was gonna upload it today, but I figured let's just do a new video. And yeah, we're still in this range. Nothing completely is crazy. So we're just monitoring this range here, and basically we're right in the middle of this range. So what I like to do in this situation is I will take a channel. Okay, I'm going to take a channel and I'm going to put it at the top right here, and I'm going to get rid of those other lines in a minute, and I'm going to put it to the bottom, and that way it will give me a medium line. So in this case, I'm going to actually go into the settings and I'm going to change this dotted line, and I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. So there's the dotted line right there. So that's the middle of the channel. And the reason why that's important, actually right there, the reason that's important is because it tells me what half we're at, right? Are we in the top half of the channel or the bottom half? And you can see, if you look at the middle part of this channel, you could see it. There's a lot of confluence in here, right? You got a little bit in there, maybe not a lot, a little bit there, a little bit there, and you could see we're starting to poke above. So there is somewhat of a, and you could raise it a little bit, right? And that'll probably be a little bit more appropriate. I would actually do that. There's less touch points at the bottom, or I'm sorry, at the top, but it gives you a little bit more touches on this portion here. So you could see the price, right? We had a big dump yesterday, and we popped up a little bit. So really, it's nothing has changed completely. We're still a little bit bearish. Again, yesterday I put out a video. Definitely watch that. Maybe I'll change it to public later on, but basically I go over some information on why it's leaning a little bit more bearish short term. Now long term, we're still looking at this being either for a fourth wave and a fifth wave, or a complex fourth wave and then a fifth wave, right? A 3-wave pullback. This is 3 waves, right? So those are, it's still the same type of situation here, right? We have 3 waves down, 3 waves up. And if this range breaks to the downside, then we're looking at 3 waves down. And then that means that's our last chance for going to $8 to $10 for an appropriate time. Now, if that fails, right? So we have 2 opportunities, guys. We have 2 opportunities. Our first opportunity is to break out. If we don't break out, then we have one more opportunity to break out. So it's either going to break out now or it's going to break out later. Now, if both of those fail, what the hell is going on? Well, then it's probably likely we're going into either a mid-cycle correction or basically a sort of a continuation of this bear market, right? Because we haven't even been in a bull market, right? We've been in a bear market since here, right? So we had a bull market, then we had a bear market, then we had a retrace, then we had reaccumulation, then we went sideways. All of this is bear. This is all bear, right? XRP has been in a bear market the majority of its life, right? So I don't know what the percentage is, but if you look, this is the only bull run it's ever had, right? And you could say, well, this is part of it. But look how much bear we have. Look how much bear we have compared to look how much bull we have, right? So statistically speaking, we should be getting bullish. Why? Because just look at the chart, man. I mean, we did all the necessary things that we needed to do in a bear market, right? We had the crash, we had the retrace, the reaccumulation, the sideways, just like over here. We had the liquidity grab, we had that first impulse. So to me, it seems like this long-term chart is extremely bullish, right? So why did you say it was bearish in the beginning? That's the smaller time frames. The smaller time frames could be bearish short term, right? We can't mix those two things up, right? We have short term, medium term, long term. So the medium term, I would say it would be this portion of the chart, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, let's get 5, or 1, 2, 3, let's get 4, then 5, right? But again, what if those fail? Let's talk about that. Well, if those fail, then what I would then say is essentially we have to look at this rectangle right here, and we're gonna come right there. So that would be the main enchilada. That would be the main part that I would assume that we would go to, right? Let's actually put this to the weekly. And what we want to do is we want to match up the retraces, right? So this was a retrace, but this was a crash, but this was also a retrace. This is the retrace in the retrace. And that's a very, very, very important level. And that level is literally at $1.30. So if we do have a mid-cycle correction, I would say the bare minimum would be $1.30, and that would suck so bad. But that's kind of the way it would work, right? So I would say in between that zone. You could see there's a big dead spot in here, right? There's really no traded candles in here. So when we broke out of this son of a gun, we never back tested it. Also, when we broke out of this right here, we broke out of it, we never back tested it. So this could be an expanded flat where you have an A, B, and then you come all the way down for C. Massive dump, but that would still constitute a three-way pullback. Yes, it's so freaking big, but look at the size of the impulse. The impulse is also really, really, really big. So if you take this entire impulse right here and you cut it in half, that's literally exactly where we would go. And that's exactly where I think this could potentially go. So you could say, well, that's basically the same as the bullish idea, right? Yes, but this could be a running flat, which the first instincts, we want it to break out. If that doesn't work, then we want it to be a running flat. If that doesn't work, we want it to be a regular flat. If that doesn't work, then we want it to be an expanded flat. If that doesn't work, then, I think it would work. But if that doesn't work, and if this expanded flat, then I would say we would have 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and then maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down, something like that. Something extremely unpleasant, something like that. And then we would go up. Listen, guys, I hate to break it to you, but we're going to $8. We're going to $9, okay? We're going to $8 to $10. Just believe that, right? This is not financial advice. I could be totally dead wrong. XRP could go to 2 cents. But do you really believe that? I don't think so. So it's not a matter of when, or it's not a matter of when. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So when are we going to do it, right? So, if we get to $10 this year versus next year, well, hey, at least we still hit that $10. Now, what do I personally think is going to happen? It's really, really, really difficult until we break this range. This range could really go either way. There's bearish things about it and there's bullish things about it. And you can say, well, how is that helping me? That's not helping me. It's actually making it more confusing. Well, no, it's helping. It's not supposed to tell you exactly where it's going, but it helps you in a way so that we can get accustomed to seeing what is bullish and what is bearish, right? For example, what is extremely bearish is that this is a descending triangle. What is also extremely bearish is that it's cupping down, it's cupping down, it's cupping down. What is also bearish is that you have a high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Now, all of those things constitute as a descending triangle, so it's really just one bearish thing. But so it's also bearish because this is a 3-wave move up. We have a 3-wave move up, right? And anytime you have a 3-wave move up, after a 3-wave move down, there's a likelihood we could get 3 waves down, right? So that's another reason why it could be bearish. But why is it bullish? Why is it bullish? It's bullish because look at the larger time frames. I mean, look where we're at here, guys. That's why it's bullish. But why is it also bullish is because we are trending up. We're going up. We have higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? Higher high, higher low. So that's bullish. Why also is it bullish? Because if you look at the EMAs, right, or the SMAs, or you can just look at the bull market support band. The bull market support band, this is probably the most bullish thing about this chart, is the bull market support band. I'm sitting in my car right now because I got to roll the window down. I'm about to burn up. I have my son. He's about to turn 4 years old, and he's at the children's clinic. They're helping up with his speech development. He's doing so much better as far as his speech goes. So he's about to turn 4, and he's talking really, really good compared to 6 months ago. It was getting a little bit concerning. So they wanted to do all these tests. Well, is he autistic? Is he this? Is he that? And I knew he wasn't autistic. I know, I've seen many kids with autism. I've seen many kids with, issues. I used to work at a school, for goodness sake, so I've seen it all the time. But I had a feeling he's not autistic, So they did the autism test. He's not autistic. So it's just a regular speech thing, right? So, it should be all ready in about 30, 40 minutes. And then I can get out of this car. So, but a big reason why this thing is super bullish is because you are essentially above the bull market support band. And then when you go to the weekly chart, it's called consensio. What is the consensus? So if you look at the consensus, it's all pointing up. So you cannot physically be bearish. The 200, the 100, the 50, the 20, they are in a fighter pilot formation. They are in an F-16, F-22 formation. They are in a extremely bullish formation, right? They are all angled up, they are all spread apart, and they are all rampaging to the upside. So that in itself is extremely bullish, right? So not only that, another reason it's bullish is because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, but we don't have 5 waves yet. So there's a lot more reasons to be bullish than there is to be bearish, and that's why it's complex. It's not easy to say, oh yeah, we're going to break out, or oh no, we're going to break down. I think it is easy and we are going to break up, but I don't know how it's going to break up or what that's going to look like. Again, we can break out now. This could be flagging out very bullishly. You have a 1, you flag out for a 2, you have a 1, you have flag out for a 2, and you bust up for a 3. It could very easily happen that way. But the problem that I have, and I would be totally on board with that, the problem I have with that, guys, is the way this looks, the way it's shaped. And I don't know if the market makers are shaping it this way on purpose, but the shape of it looks incredibly bearish. This is a textbook descending triangle where your volatility is slowing, it's slowly, boom. And that's what I've seen time and time and time again. I've seen it many times where that happens like that. So you can see kind of over here, we had a descending triangle, right? And what happens is, this one just went completely down. But if you look at something like, Bitcoin has had many textbook descending triangles. One of them was right here. It broke down, but look, that was the end of it, and then it circled back up. Another one was back over here. This was probably the most famous one, right? And then there was another one too, and that one was right over here. And you could see the descending triangle. And that was coming up, and then we went descending, and then it broke down. And then what happened is it popped up. I remember this pump right here. This pump happened because Xi Jinping, president of China, said blockchain was cool. That's all he said. He said, yeah, blockchain was cool. And then it went up. No, he said, he didn't say it was cool. He said it was, I don't know. He said it was awesome, or he said it was interesting or something. And but what that was a flat. So you see this expanded flat right there, A, B, C, and then we got rejected. That's what I want to see, guys. That's what I want to see. If we're bearish, is do we get rejected on that level? So let's look at XRP. So if we break down like this and we get rejected, well, then we kind of have, like, you could say, well, maybe it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4 rejection at 4, then 5, and that still constitutes as a three-way pullback. But if we break below, you know, $2, we can't go, we don't really want to go below $2 unless if it's an expanded flat, right? So if we take a trend-based fib extension from the top of this wave to the bottom, back to the top, you can see the 1-to-1 comes in at right at $1.92. We really don't want it to go below that. And then you could see $1.19 as the 1414. Let me see if this was on log scale. If I put it there, okay, so that changes a little bit. So you're looking at, you know, between 130 and 111 if it's an expanded flat. And if it is, it's going to come down fast and furious and hardcore. So C waves always usually do that, right? So if we zoom in on XRP, and let's zoom in on this, you can see, right, where we have this little three-wave move, and then it drops, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, three-wave move, slam down, right? And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, three-wave move, and then, you know, you have a slam down, right? So, but you could see how vicious the C waves are. And let's see if I have a better example here. Here's an interesting example right here. So you had three waves down, right? Three waves up, and then this was your, look how long it took, but look how fast it was over. It happened really fast. That's because a lot of times the C waves are fast and furious. And they happen very suddenly, very violently. And that the reason they happen so violently is because they want to cause the biggest reaction. They want to cause a lot of emotional decision making in that situation. So it's definitely being set up that way. You know, for example, if this is once, if you know, this is scary if it's a, you know, I never liked how it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. That could be a 1. That could be a 2, right? Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then you have, this could be 3 up, 3 down, 3 up. That could be considered a three-wave move. And then that's another 1, another 2, and then you come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's another 1. And this is a flat here, that could be another 2, and then we could be going down in a massive third wave. So you could say, well, how is this helpful? I mean, you know, that's just the reality. That's the reality we're in. So welcome to the pressure cooker. This is a pressure cooker, right? I mean, we're just at any moment, this could break up, break down. Statistically speaking, descending triangles usually break to the downside. But, you know, all it would take is an XRP ETF or some bullish piece of news, or, I don't know, something with the Fed, anything that could really heighten the bullishness that'll get us a significant breakout. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see how it works out. But on the small time frames, you know, it was kind of looking like a little bit of a triangle, a little bit of a triangle in here, but yeah, we broke down of that triangle here, this little thing here, we broke down. So it could still technically be a three-way pullback. You know, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you have 3 waves down, and I don't know if that would be 3 waves up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. So 3, 3, 5. So that could be a 1, that could be a 2. It's definitely possible. Or this could be 3 down, that could be 3 up, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get 5. So 335, and that's still a 1-2, right? So if I take this and I put it there, you could see, look at that. We basically perfectly hit the 1-4 and the 1-6-1-8. So we really want it to be finished. We don't want it to go below that. You know, that's a situation, right? Because if you take this whole wave and you cut it in half, that's literally where we went to. And that's literally okay, right? Because halfway is okay. But if you look at this and you cut it in half, we literally went 100%, 105%. We went beyond the wave. So as long as we don't get something like that, put it this way, if we break this low, it's really going to be bearish short term for at least a couple weeks. So hopefully we don't have to do that. But yeah, I mean, you know, obvious. And then another reason too why it's bullish is because you have an impulse to the upside and you're correcting. You could say that's a bull flag. You could technically say it is, right? You can see, right? And this is what's saving me a little bit here. You have a high, you have a lower high, a lower high. I'm sorry, a low, a lower low, lower low, lower low. That's good. You can say, well, that's bad. No, we don't want it horizontal. We want it down. The reason we want it down is because this could be sort of a bullish pennant or a bull flag or a falling wedge even. You can, you know, depending how you kind of look at it. You know, trading and technical analysis and understand, it's all sort of subjective on how you're approaching it, right? So I would say as long as, you know, this line's being respected, and, you know, we have a really good shot at breaking out of here. But that doesn't mean the pain isn't over. We could still kind of come down a little bit before breaking out. So we'll see how it progresses. Other than that, nothing too exciting. Look at Monero. Monero's starting to say, hey, baby, what about me? What about me? Monero, guys, look at, you know, Monero likes to do these little 1-2s, man. It's kind of interesting. But Monero looks insanely bullish, guys. I mean, it really does. And I currently I'm not holding Monero. I've traded it, but I'm not currently holding it at the moment. But I think I might get some Monero as far as a trade goes. So this looks, and this is the problem. Like, how could I be bearish when I see things like Monero doing what Monero's doing, which is incredibly bullish, right? Look how long, you know, look how long this has been in the works, guys. This has been in the works for a long time. So you have a rise, crash, retrace, you come down for reaccumulation, you go sideways. It's probably the most beautiful reaccumulation structure I've ever seen. It's way beautiful. It's more pretty looking than XRP by far, because it looks more symmetrical, it looks more compliant, it looks more consolidated, right? Where XRP, you kind of had a base here and then another one here, and it kind of went up and then it went back down. It wasn't like a legit base like Monero is. Definitely looks really good. So we want to see this break above here. It's possible we could get a little bit of a correct. I mean, we do have a diag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this is A, B, C, you know, we could pull back and then it can round up, and then you have that inverse head and shoulders. And I suppose, you know, the measured move could be, you know, almost what, $480. That's well over $100 compared to where we are now. That's a 40% move if we could get that, right? And the reason I like it, is because it kind of pulls back, 3-wave, right? It comes up, and then you have that 3-wave. Remember, for the longest time we were looking at Monero, we were inside this flat here. So this is actually the same kind of thing that XRP could be doing. Matter of fact, let's look at that side by side. So if we put this side by side and we go to XRP and we look at XRP real quick, if I could get it on here. Come on, XRP. And if we look at it side by side, right there, you could see something very interesting, right? You could see we have an impulse, we have this 3-wave move down, 3-wave move down, 3-wave move up, 3-wave move up, and then what happened is we had a 3-wave move back down. So this could be a 3-wave move back down, and then we explode to the upside. So where did Monero go? Well, it almost went back to the low, so that would essentially meaning coming back down here before going up. So it's a very real possibility. So let's see if that plays out, because I feel like if I was a market maker, what would I do? How would I screw over everybody? Well, what I would do is I would make it appear bullish, and then I would break us down and get everybody panicked, and then the bear marketeer videos come out, right? And then I would just explode it to the upside, right? Basically a double fake out. So, yeah, Monero looks great. And again, we were looking at this is actually a running flat. We were looking at this running flat forever, and it finally broke out, and we were suspecting that it would break out. It took a lot longer than we thought, but hey, at least we got the result we were looking for. And then what happened was we exploded all the way up, and then we had a nice ABC correction, and we back tested it perfectly. And then now we went up in 5 again. So to me, this looks like it's doing what it needs to do. And I just wish I would have loaded up back over here. And if you look at what it's doing now, I mean, you can see how nice it looks, right? How it comes up and it has a 3-wave pullback. It comes right back to the top. Let's see if we get a little bit of a shoulder here and see how it plays out. Okay, so let's look at Ethereum then, and then we'll look at Bitcoin. Ethereum still looks pretty good to me. I mean, I don't see anything bearish completely yet, right? We have 3 waves down, and we have an impulse up. So if this is A, B, C, right, and we pull back, I would suspect maybe in a week or 2 weeks we could get a nice pop to the upside here. Right? It looks like it's a 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have A, and then you come B, and then you get C, and then hopefully continue the story. Because when you look at, and here's another, Monero is very bullish, XRP is very bullish, Ethereum is very bullish. On the larger time frames, it is very bullish. So we can't get caught up in the small things, right? Because we got to zoom out. So yeah, this is 3, 3, 3. I mean, this is perfect. This is exactly what we want XRP to do, right? So if we look at XRP from Ethereum's perspective, and we zoom out a little bit more, and we zoom out a little bit more on this one, you can very clearly see something very special, right? You got 3 down, 3 down. It's a flat, right? You got 3 up, 3 up, and then what happened here? You had 3 waves back down. So this could be 3 waves back down. And look how violent this wave was right here. Unbelievably violent, right? So that's the thing about C waves. They are fast and furious. Most of the time, they're very fast and furious. So look at the C wave right there. Boom. So if that is the case, that's why I'm saying, like, if we start breaking down and we have a violent C wave like that, I say, oh, I thought we were bullish. You know, you said we were bullish. No, we're fulfilling the move. We're fulfilling the prophecy, right? We're fulfilling what it needs to do. So again, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and let's get 3. And that would mean breaking down, but then exploding up and going off to the races. So that's why I disagree with, blockchain backer. If this breaks down, it's not lights out. It's not game over. It just means it's a bigger flat. Now, if this is an expanded flat, it's still not over, right? When would it be over? We're never going to a new all-time high ever again. Well, I mean, it essentially would have to break that low, which is probably impossible at this point. If we break below that, right? Now, as long as we're above this and as long as we're in this, we're still technically bullish. And you can say, well, how's that possible? We were at, say, $3.61. Now we're all the way down at 88 cents. How is that bullish? That's still very bearish. That's a massive drop from the top here all the way back down. That's a 70. How could we be bullish? That's a 75% dump. How is that bullish? Well, the reason why it's bullish still is because look at the wave to the upside. You're not looking at that. So if we started from C19, from the very low, and we go all the way up to the top, you could see we've from March 2020 to today, we've gone up 3,000%, guys. So if you go up 3,000% and then you have a 75% dump, it's not the end of the world, right? So yeah, so we went up 3,000%. So if we had to drop 75% down to here in an expanded flat scenario, which I don't think will happen, but it's definitely in the cards, right? Then we go from there. So here's what I say. We are going to $8 to $10. I just don't know how we're going to get there just yet. We have to wait for this little guy to break first. All right, so there we go. Flare. Uphold still owes me a lot of Flare. Uphold wants like financial documents. They want my WT forms. They want all these things. It's like, dude, leave me alone. Like, bro. Jeez. That's why I like Coinbase. They don't screw it. Like, for now, Coinbase is okay, but Uphold, they like to mess with you. They just, I don't know. It's weird. So Bitcoin, let's look at Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing? So Bitcoin is, and here's another thing. Monero's bullish, XRP's bullish, large time frames. Ethereum is very bullish, but the main one, but none of that matters. The main thing is Bitcoin bullish, and it is bullish, but it's getting very scary up here. It's because you basically went up this cliff. So this is a big mountain here that you're climbing, right? So let's see how Bitcoin performs. So, yeah, I gotta go get my son right now, but Bitcoin, it's still bullish. Look at it. Just real quick, if you want to watch the previous video I did yesterday. But yeah, look, you got this big impulse here, and you got a three-way pullback. It's like perfect. So let's see if we could get out of there, or let's see if this comes back up, and then gives us a bigger three-way pullback. I think a bigger three-way pullback would be better, just to give us a little bit more of a flag, a little bit more of a reset. But if we got that, I don't know how the altcoins would fare, right? Because even though Bitcoin's at an all-time high, the altcoins seem relatively weak. So that's pretty much it. XLM actually looks pretty good right here. You got this three-way pullback. It looks a lot better than that stupid thing. So if we could hold support here and start rounding up and kind of creating a base on top of this layer, then that could be a good thing to push us out and forward, because XLM and Algo has more of a flaggy look. It has more of a downsloping flaggy look to it. So really, honestly, guys, I'm more bullish today than I was yesterday. Yesterday I was a little bit more bearish because we had that big drop, but you can't judge a drop by its drop. You got to judge it by how it how it follows through, how it recovers, right? Because we still have a double bottom. We have an impulse, massive 3-wave pullback, and a double bottom. So if we can build a base in here, that'd be fine too. So everything looks okay. Anything else in here real quick on SHIB and Monero? I don't really like that too much. Looks a little weak to me. I think you just need more time. I still think the Wyckoff accumulation is still a big thing. And then for Theta, once we get rolling, I will talk much more about Theta. I haven't been, it's just, there's really nothing here quite yet. It's not like on the edge of something like XRP is on the edge of a cliff. Bitcoin's on the edge of a cliff, but Theta is kind of just sort of on the bottom of the barrel. It's just sort of, recycling, which could be even a better thing than XRP because it has more percentage terms over the long run. But essentially, you have this 3-way pullback. Let's see if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we sort of circle around, or we really want to see what happens here. So if we could kind of build a base, that'll be a cool thing to see. So other than that, I'm still expecting a retrace. We had a massive crash, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, bullish divergence, build a base. So ultimately, once this is done, we want to see it get back up here. So we don't know if it's going to have a spring or a little bit of a creek. But anyways, other than that, just kind of look at Litecoin here. It's butting up against the high, butting up against the high, butting up against the high, butting up against the high. Very critical area for Litecoin. Once Litecoin breaks this key level, it's going straight up, guys. I'm letting you know right now. Once Litecoin breaks this area, it's going straight up to 291. It's basically going to jump 220, 320, almost $200. Okay, once it breaks out. Look at this level. Look at this level. This is a very, very important level right here. You could see this level here, this level there, right? All of these levels in here, right? And if you just bring it all the way across, you can see it's a big, big, major rain going back years and years and years and years and years, right? Like a long time. So once we break out of this, we're trying to break it. Look what happened the last time we broke out. We broke out, we went flying to the upside. When we held support, we went flying to the upside. But when we broke below it, reject, 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 reject. But when we break above it, it's going to be massive, okay? So let's see how that plays out. But what if we're bearish? What if we have a bear market coming? What if we can't break above it? Then I would expect, well, this is some kind of a bear flag. We would work our way down, maybe like, for example, we have 3 waves up, and this is 3 waves down, and then we shoot up. So let's see how it plays out. But I will catch you guys in the next one. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Remember, not financial advice, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.